Appian low-code platform for enterprise application development allows us to perform many powerful, insightful, and intelligent integrations to data from many different sources. My name is Javier Ruiz from IDS Intelligent Data Solutions. I am going to show you a quick application that we developed for the Appian Hackathon 2019. The application is aimed at someone who is exploring properties, perhaps to buy or sell. And there are two main components the person using this application is looking for. Number one, what restaurants are within a certain number of driving miles from the property address? Please note that the driving distance is different than a search radius. The driving distance considers the roads that need to be used to go from the address in question to a corresponding restaurant. Number two, the detailed property attributes available for the address. We can show up to 198 different attributes for any given property. So let's get started with our demo. We first have an address that we actually can type into our application. We type, in this case, 2913 North Bend Drive in Dallas, Texas. We have selected 2-mile driving distance. We can change this to 5 miles. And we want to show 20 different restaurants that are close to North Bend 2913. In this case, we have the list of nearby restaurants, and they're listed from the closest restaurants all the way to furthest restaurant from our location, up to 5 miles. And we're only showing the top 20 restaurants. We could change the number and say maybe top 100 restaurants are closest to a location we want to look at. And that will actually tells us what we want to see from the restaurants that we're interested in looking at. And you can see how the table actually changed. I mentioned as well that we can look at property attributes. The table below, or this grid, actually shows us the different attributes for that address. In this case, who is the owner of this address? Also, the actual corrected address for this, or corrected address or validated address. For example, we can see this has a zip code. If you look at the address I typed in here, there's no zip code. The address was validated and corrected, so we can actually search the different detailed property attributes for that given address. We can also see the address in a map, which is the same address that we typed in. We can look at that within a map, all within Appian Enterprise. As you can see, updating the different settings that we have in the application allows us to actually see different scenarios based on the area and based on the distance and number of restaurants that we want to show. For example, let's only show the top 10 restaurants within a 4-mile driving distance. Now we can see all the different top 10 restaurants that are close to our address within 4 miles. Now this application, let's say we want to save the address, we can actually click on Save Address, and the address can be saved for further investigation, or for actually to be able to actually see which addresses we have been looking at, or which addresses other people that have been using the application have been looked at. And we can click that and the property is reviewed, and we can see a graph that tells us all the different addresses that anybody has viewed while using the application. Again, we can go back to our main page. The other thing that's important to note, this application works also from a mobile device. In this case, from my Android phone, we can see property details and nearby restaurants. We can type in the address, driving distance, number of restaurants to show, and then we can see how the grid actually updates for the number of restaurants, or the list of the restaurants that are close to the address we're interested in. We can also look at the property details for the addresses we are looking at on our phone, as well as the map that tells us the exact location of the address we're interested in looking at. As you can see, if you're a realtor or a person looking at the properties, we save the addresses and we can actually do further investigation. And this is what we can see in the report. It also works on an iPhone or a mobile phone. And this will conclude the demo of the application. We are only showing a subset of all the data we can use to enrich any application that runs on Appian Enterprise. From property information, locational details close to an address, to risk, earthquake, flood, crime, and even other datasets like social media can be blended into Appian application to allow users to make better and more informed decisions. Further enhancements that we can consider using travel time instead of travel distance. Looking at other kinds of reference locations. Instead of restaurants, for example, use gas stations, schools, or retail stores. Or we can also look at the crime index for a given location. This power is demoed by IDS Data Enrichment Platform. Thank you.